Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for coming this afternoon to the update for our incident. My name is Captain Dave Zanaboni. I'm the Public Information Officer for Santa Barbara County Fire Department. Before we get started, I'd like to just acknowledge the presence of Congressman Salud Carbajal, who is in the audience, and also Assembly Member Monique Lemon. At this time, I'd like to bring up Kevin Taylor. He's the Deputy Fire Chief for Montecito Fire District.
Good afternoon. Kevin Taylor, Deputy Fire Chief, Montecito Fire Protection District, and one of the Unified Incident Commanders for this debris flow event. This event has devastated our community. The Board of Directors of the Montecito Fire Protection District, Fire Chief Chick Hipman, and the men and women of the Montecito Fire Department, in partnership with the Santa Barbara City Fire Department, Santa Barbara County Fire Department, Carpinteria Summerlin Fire Protection District, and the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office continue to be fully engaged in the rescue effort. Our efforts are 100% focused on this event, and we will see it through to the end. Our organizations exist for the community and will continue to support the community throughout the search, rescue, and recovery efforts. Please help us be successful by respecting the evacuation zones, as they are critical and necessary to our success. I would especially like to thank CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 3 and their Incident Commander, Billy C., for their very capable support of our efforts during this difficult time. I would also like to thank our partners from throughout the state of California and in our federal government for their support of our response. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to introduce Jeff O's, Operations Chief for CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 3.
Good afternoon. We continue to operate in a rescue mode. We have completed the primary searches in all affected residents. We continue to move forward with the secondary searches of all those affected residents. We currently have 1,250 personnel assigned to the incident. That includes 114 engine companies, 29 canines, 16 USAR and specialized swiftwater rescue teams, other specialized technical equipment, and 11 hand crews.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to introduce Sheriff Bill Brown, Santa Barbara County.
Thank you, and thank all of you for being here this afternoon. I am saddened to report today another victim was located, bringing the total number of fatal casualties from this tragic incident to 18. That victim has been identified as 87-year-old Joseph Francis Bleckel of Montecito. He was located today by a search and rescue team in his residence at around 11:30. We want to express our condolences to his family and friends and our continued sadness for the family and friends of the other 17 victims who were so tragically killed in this incident. Joseph Bleckel was one of the people on our active missing persons list. At this time, we currently have 6 active missing persons cases. Thanks to some very great detective work by our investigators in contacting all of the collated names that we had from various sources. And that number is going to change as we continue through this incident, as we receive and investigate tips from people who are concerned and have brought to our attention an inability to contact a member of their family, and information that comes to us through the Family Assistance Center, from our dispatch center, and from social media, and actually from notice boards at our evacuation center and other locations. We know that there are so many people concerned about the people who are missing that we have on our list, and today we are going to release the names of those who are missing. The missing people as of now are 25-year-old Morgan Christine Corey, 17-year-old John Jack Canton, 28-year-old Fabiola Benitez Calderon, 30-year-old Pinit Sutitepa, 2-year-old Lydia Sutitepa, and 53-year-old John Keating. It goes without saying how incredibly devastating this situation is for their loved ones during this time, and we ask that you hold them close in your thoughts and in your prayers, and we want those families to know that we are here to support them any way we can. We are still very much actively searching for those who are missing and helping anyone who we can find that needs to be either rescued or evacuated. We have teams of law enforcement, fire and sheriff, search and rescue personnel from 4 counties who are assisting us in this effort. We have canines that specialize in both search and rescue and search and recovery, as well as a number of air units assisting our County Air Support Unit and the National Guard air assets on this operation. One of the huge successes that we have had has been the use of all-terrain armored vehicles that we have in our inventory and which normally are used for a barricaded suspect or an armed situation of some kind, but they have proved invaluable in allowing us to reach areas that we normally would have never been able to get to with standard 2-wheel drive vehicles. And for the past 3 days, our special enforcement team, using our 2 Bearcat armored vehicles, has been going into areas where people are trapped and performing rescues and evacuations. And we're very grateful to have those armored vehicles to help us during this disaster. The National Guard vehicles, the large trucks with a high clearance, and our search and rescue vehicles have also been instrumental in helping us reach otherwise inaccessible areas as well. There are many untold stories of rescues and dynamic events that will eventually be told, but we can tell you that yesterday there was an amazing team effort to evacuate successfully the Casa Dorinda retirement community, which consisted of over 300 people who were residents and staff. We want to thank the people of Montecito and the people in the adjacent areas, particularly Summerland and Carpinteria, who have had such an impact in this difficult time. And we also want to particularly thank the people in Montecito who have been affected by the expansion of the mandatory evacuation center. This area that we evacuated has resulted in a much better situation for the crews that are out there. And we've had great success today having the area get cleared for public works, utility, and repair crews who are in the area. And the sooner we can get those repairs and assessments done, the sooner we will get Montecito back to normal. And after all, it is going to be a long haul to do that, and we know that things will never be quite the same, but nevertheless, we appreciate your continued patience and understanding and cooperation. Everyone, for the most part, has been very cooperative with this evacuation, and we greatly appreciate that. We also appreciate the media and their cooperation with us in moving their satellite and live trucks out of the area as well, so that we can make room for the rescue and repair and damage assessment teams, and for their responsible and considerate reporting of this terrible tragedy in our community. And lastly, I just want to say thank you to all of the citizens of Santa Barbara County, whether you're local here or somewhere on the periphery, and support for your continued patience and understanding, for your continued support as we protect your safety with this incredible team that has been put together by people from throughout the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'd like to introduce Captain Cindy Ponts from the California Highway Patrol.
Good afternoon. Thank you for all being here today. Caltrans has announced that the estimated opening date of Monday for the 101 has now been changed to unknown. The 101 remains closed northbound at the 150 and southbound at Milpas. We are happy to report that all on-ramps to the southbound 101 from Evans in Summerland to to the south are now open. We do understand that the closure of the 101 is causing great hardships on many, many people. This area at Olive Mill Road not only made the 101 impassable, but it also made a lot of the surface streets impassable. Crews are working day and night to clear the roadways, and as soon as we can get an alternate route around the 101 closure, we will. Also, the 192 incurred damages, and that's impassable around that area also. We just ask for everyone's continued patience as crews work to get these roadways open. We want to thank the community for their continued support and patience. This is an absolutely amazing community, and I am confident that we will all come together and we will get through this. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Ponts. I'd like to bring up or introduce Tom Ferrum, Deputy Director of the Santa Barbara County Flood Control.
Good afternoon. I first want to start off by thanking the Sheriff's Office and CHP for the evacuation enforcement that has allowed more work to be done every day. We get more work thanks to the increased mobility in the disaster area. Each day we are making more progress on opening up creeks, roads, and bridges in our community of Montecito. As we announced yesterday, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has now begun work with more equipment arriving by the hour, and they will begin opening up debris basins. This will take time, but progress will be made each day, and we will improve conditions in the area. Now, on that note, I'd like to also mention that Colonel Gibbs, the commander of the Los Angeles District of the Corps of Engineers, will be here to visit these debris basin sites tomorrow morning. Our crews, both flood control and public works transportation, are clearing debris from roads and channels. At the same time as we race to open these facilities, we are working closely with fire and sheriff officials to also respect the search and rescue mission that is ongoing, and we assist them with that effort. Myself, having been out to the disaster area yet again, it's essential that we utilize every tool available to accelerate the recovery efforts in our community. It is still January, and most of our rainy season still lies ahead of us. We will work until we get this done.
Thank you, Tom. I'd like to introduce Suzanne Grimace with the Santa Barbara County Behavior and Wellness.
Good afternoon. My name is Suzanne Grimace. I work with the County of Santa Barbara Department of Behavioral Wellness. Planning is taking place for a local recovery and assistance center that will be open for an extended period of time. The LAC is tentatively targeted to open on Wednesday, January 17th, and will serve as a one-stop shop for counseling support and recovery resource assistance for both the Thomas Fire and the storm event. It will include assistance for housing, redevelopment, loss of business, loss of employment, and basic health and human services to help people to rebuild and recover. The LAC will be staffed with federal and local agencies and organizations. The Family Assistance Center will remain available from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. and serve as a safe space where community can come to receive support and assistance. The Family Assistance Center will transition completely to the LAC upon its opening. The Family Assistance Center remains located at First Presbyterian Church at 21 East Constance. Additionally, planning is taking place for a community town hall meeting for a tentative date of Tuesday, January 16th. The toll-free number 833-688-5551 will remain available as a resource to call for information, evacuation and transportation assistance, assistance with locating a loved one, or to request to talk to a counselor. While the storm information line remains active, this toll-free number will now serve as a universal information and assistance line. Again, the number is 833-688-5551. More information will be coming on the planning efforts underway and will be shared soon. In closing, I'd like to recognize that I've had the opportunity to speak with countless parents and educators in our community, seeking information and support to best support their students and children. All the while doing so with having lost lives and lost homes. I am humbled to be a part of such a resilient community. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. I'd like to introduce Laura Camp. She's Public Information Coordinator for the Montecito Water District.
Thank you all for being here. I'm Laura Camp. I'm in charge of public information for the Montecito Water District, and I'm not that tall. General Manager Nick Turner is out in the field. He's doing helicopter surveillance at this time, and this is our update. It has been another very productive day. We continue to make progress. We're repairing known infrastructure damage and assessing damage and delivery capability in new areas. The boiled water notice is still in effect for the entire district. Water service throughout Montecito continues to be limited. Some areas have water but low pressure. Other areas have no water at all. We remind customers to use water only as essential. And we have established emergency potable water distribution sites. The water system is severely damaged. As we make discoveries, we are making plans and making repairs. We have contractors working on repairing the water main breaks and replacing missing fire hydrants. We have engineers working on solutions for reestablishing water mains across creek crossings that have been completely wiped out. Once the repairs have been made and the system can hold pressure, we will begin to energize the system. It is unknown at this time when we will be able to do that. We are receiving tremendous support from the state, the county, the city of Santa Barbara, other mutual aid agencies, and our elected officials. We are so appreciative. Interagency support is remarkable. We have excellent coordination. Additional assistance and resources are being brought on daily in large quantity. But we must continue to ask for the community's patience. We are working hard to reestablish water service to the area, but it will take time. The most important thing is protecting public health and safety. Thank you again for your patience and your cooperation during this difficult time.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, so we're going to open it up to questions now for a little bit. I'll try to direct it to the right representative. Tom?
Wondering if someone can talk and explain where all this material is being disposed of.
Okay, the question is, where is all the material being disposed of?
Including whether it's being put on any of the local beaches.
Tom, can you address that?
We have material is going to multiple places, including Goleta Beach and the end of Ash Avenue in Carpinteria. Those sites are under permit from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We also have disposal sites at the county Foothill landfill and also some other areas in Caltrans. Other sites are opening up outside of the county.
I just wanted, this just came to me and I just want to announce it just so it can get out there to people that may be watching or in the local area. In about 5 minutes, there's going to be a large planned blasting operation in the location of the 192 in the Toro Canyon. And this is necessary for continued operations in the field. So if there's reports of that, that's what it's all about. It's planned. And we have any more? Any questions? Okay, yeah, the question was about the victim that was found today.
Mr. Bleckler was found in his residence, which was on a street that was up in the area of Romero Canyon, headed up towards Romero Canyon. And then I just got some other information too, which is some additional good news, and that is that John Keating, who I just announced was missing, has just been located. He is in an out-of-area hospital being treated, and somebody watching this broadcast was able to get that information to us. So our missing list is now down to 5 rather than 6. On Bleckl, it's B-L. B-L-E-C-K-E-L, Joseph. And it was correct, Joseph Francis Bleckl. Francis with an I, yes. Well, as I've stated before, I think, you know, it's very easy to try to take a look and without having all of the facts and without knowing exactly what's going on to opine that something wasn't done correctly. I can assure you and the public that the efforts to get the warning out to the people of Montecito were extraordinary. And there were literally hundreds of emails and thousands of electronic messages that were sent out. There was a press conference. There were letters delivered to homes. There were extraordinary methods that were undertaken. There was a notification from the National Weather Service, and there was a notification from the WIA. It was just that notification was as the event was unfolding. So I don't think that there would be any you know, I don't think it's time to really try to criticize that. The other thing that we're finding is, and we don't have conclusive information on this yet, but as it looks now, I think certainly the majority, if not the vast majority of those who perished in this incident were actually originated actually up in or in the immediate border of the mandatory evacuation area anyway. So I think we're really starting to split hairs if we're talking about, you know, where did all the majority of the damage occur. It really happened throughout the area, and really think that we're doing a disservice to try to focus on that too much at this point.
The material that's being hauled is the storm debris. It's the same debris that went to the ocean during the storm. I emphasize, this material has to be cleared off. We have to get the highways open. We are going to have hundreds of trucks in this area, and we have little time to get this done. And this is one community, and we will use every resource we can to restore Montecito.
So we're not going to take any more questions on the storm debris or the dumping of the storm debris. A press release is coming out shortly regarding that subject. So if there's any other questions about anything else, Beth? The question is about residents wanting to know if their homes are okay or if they've been damaged. And do we have somebody that wants to talk on that? Okay.
Hey, good afternoon, Billy C., Incident Commander for CAL FIRE Team 3. We're currently in the process, day 2, of doing the damage inspection out there through this. So we got 30 square miles. We have several damage inspection teams on the ground inspecting it with county officials and our personnel. That information is gathered in a collector app, and it's all GPS located. Currently, after today, we'll have 2 days of information, and that information is being provided to the Office of Emergency Management for Santa Barbara County.
Okay, sir, to your left.
Yeah. We were evacuated from Bonnie Mead. Just wondering when we could go back and get our medications and holding.
The question was if he was evacuated from Bonnie Mead, and I'm going to let the sheriff answer that question.
If you'll just see me right after the press conference, I'll talk to you and we'll make some arrangements. And just information as well, if people are having difficulty because they need to get medication or they have a pet left behind or something along those lines, they can contact us and we will work with them to try to make arrangements to do that.
Tom? Question is about the closure of the 101.
I actually had the opportunity to fly over that area today, thanks to our National Guard, and it is probably a good 3/4, if not a mile of water. You can't even see the center divide. So it's that high above the center divide across the entire freeway, and the water's still coming down. So they're pumping water out and it's coming back in, and pumping water out, come back in. So it's just this vicious cycle. To give you an estimated time, in my opinion, Monday was really optimistic, and obviously it's not gonna happen. So it's unknown until we can get that water to stop, and then we have another rainstorm coming at the end of next week. So we may have a lot of issues with that too if it's not cleaned up and the water hasn't been stopped by that time. So it's truly unknown at this time. And from the first day after the rain stopped, from the pictures that I saw, the water's actually risen from the first day of the storm. So that's not a good sign. So they're working diligently. They have all the resources that they need. It's just an ongoing battle. So that one area is the biggest issue. We still have areas south of there that are flooded with mud and debris that they're working to get cleared also, but that's the biggest issue, is right there at Olive Mill Road.
Do they need more pumping stations to get the water out?
No, like I said, they have plenty of equipment. They're running into each other I mean, when I was over it, there was, gosh, I don't know how many trucks, but there was a lot of trucks pumping water. So they have enough resources. It's just we can't get the water to stop coming in. So once we find that solution, we can really get a handle on it. Thank you.
We're going to have one more question. Beth, go ahead. Can we confirm about a firefighter injury?
Release back to work.
Minor injury, released back to work. Okay. One KSBY. Go ahead, Sheriff.
No, Mr. Bleckel, the one and only Mr. Bleckel that we're aware of, was on the missing persons list, and he was found and confirmed to be dead today. Mr. Keating, the one that we just said was in an outside a hospital outside the area, is Mr. Keating, who was one of our then 6, now 5 missing people on the list.
I cannot address the blasting. I just know that there's some sort of a blasting operation going on, so it may be heard in the area, and it's fully controlled. operation. That concludes today's press conference. We are planning a press conference tomorrow, same location, same time, 4 p.m. Thank you for coming this afternoon.